In this series of nocturnal narrations, we delve into one of Ohio's most perplexing mysteries, the baffling disappearance of Brian Schaffer. As you settle in and let your mind wander, allow the soft cadence of this tale to lull you into a gentle state of wonder. The following story unfolds in several parts, from an ordinary night that promised nothing more than laughter and camaraderie, to a final, mysterious vanishing that left questions echoing in the quiet corridors of memory. Let the mystery cradle you as you drift toward sleep. On a cool spring evening in early April 2006, life in Columbus, Ohio, carried on with its customary rhythm. Brian Schaffer, a promising medical student with a warm smile and a keen intellect, was about to become part of a mystery that would haunt the whispers of late-night conversations for years to come. His disappearance was not the result of grand schemes or supernatural plots. It was a sudden, inexplicable event that has since stirred both sorrow and intrigue in equal measure. This narrative is not a work of fiction, but a gentle retelling of the real events as they unfolded, a story meant not to disturb your sleep, but to invite you to ponder the delicate balance between certainty and the unknowable. So, let us begin our journey into that fateful night. Brian Schaffer was known among his friends as someone whose laughter lit up the room, whose conversations blended science and art with effortless charm. A dedicated medical student, Brian's days were filled with long hours of study and compassionate care. Yet he never lost his zest for the moments of reprieve, a night out with friends, a shared joke over a clink of glasses, or a casual stroll through the city's vibrant streets. On the evening in question, the ordinary promised comfort. Brian and his companions met at a bustling Columbus bar, a place with dim lights, soft jazz in the background, and a steady hum of conversation. It was a refuge for those seeking a temporary escape from the pressures of daily life, a setting that night would become the stage for a mystery that defied explanation. As the night deepened, the bar became a tapestry of flickering neon and whispered secrets. Friends exchanged lively banter and embraced the fleeting magic of the moment. Brian, ever the congenial spirit, engaged with everyone around him, his presence a blend of quiet confidence and infectious humor. In the glow of the evening, time seemed to stretch and bend. The familiar became surreal, as if the very air was charged with an undercurrent of something unspoken. surveillance cameras, meant to capture the mundane routine of a night out, were silently recording every gesture and every smile, a routine that, unbeknownst to all, would soon reveal a fragment of an enigma. Then, as if in a blink, the night took a strange turn. Amidst the laughter and the gentle clinking of glasses, a moment was captured on the bar's surveillance footage, a single frame where Brian's figure appeared, his eyes bright with the spirit of the night. He moved confidently, as if following an unseen cue, and stepped toward a corridor that led to a restroom or a secluded corner of the establishment. In that very instant, something inexplicable occurred. The cameras recorded his approach, but as if swallowed by the shadows or an unseen portal, Brian vanished from view. One moment he was there, the next he was gone, leaving behind an unsettling void and a flurry of unanswered questions. Friends later recounted that he had been in high spirits, and yet that final step into the dimly lit area marked the beginning of a silence that would persist for years. In the aftermath of that mysterious evening, a search began not just for Brian, but for any clue that might piece together what truly transpired. Investigators meticulously reviewed the video footage, the statements of friends, and every minor detail that could explain his sudden disappearance. The timeline was clear. Brian was seen, and then, inexplicably, he was no longer there. Theories emerged like fragile whispers in the night. Some speculated that he might have encountered an unforeseen accident, a fall into a hidden stairwell, or a misadventure that led him astray. Others pondered if foul play might have been involved, though no evidence ever confirmed such a dire conclusion. And then there were those who let their imaginations wander into realms of the surreal, pondering if perhaps Brian had stepped into a different plane of existence, if time had folded in on itself, or if he had simply chosen to vanish from a world that was becoming increasingly overwhelming. Each theory was examined, each possibility considered, yet none could offer the comfort of certainty. The absence of a definitive explanation left a lingering sense of disquiet, a puzzle with a missing piece that no one could quite grasp. In the days and months that followed, the story of Brian Schaffer's disappearance began to weave itself into the fabric of local lore. Conversations in hushed tones at late-night diners, debates in quiet living rooms, and even the fleeting pause of a lone nightwalker on an empty street all carried echoes of that mysterious evening. The case with its silent cameras and unyielding questions, became a modern ghost story told in both whispered reverence and cautious speculation. Some believed that perhaps Brian had experienced a moment of existential crisis, a decision to step away from a life that, despite its promise, had grown too heavy with expectation. Others held on to darker suspicions that something sinister lurked beneath the familiar veneer of the night. And still, there were those who simply accepted the mystery as part of the tapestry of life, proof that not every question in the world is meant to be answered. This multitude of theories, each as enigmatic as the last, imbued the case with an allure that transcended the boundaries of simple explanation. It was a mystery that invited us to question the limits of our understanding and to marvel at the delicate interplay between light and shadow, certainty and doubt. Years have passed since that eerie night, yet the memory of Brian Shaffer endures, a spectral reminder of a mystery that refuses to fade. The corridors of the Columbus Bar, now quiet and somnolent in the late hours, seem to whisper his name to anyone willing to listen. Investigators have long since reached a standstill, and the unanswered questions remain as poignant as they were in the early days. For many, the story of Brian's disappearance is more than just a series of events. It is a mirror reflecting the fragile nature of life and the enigmatic forces that sometimes intervene in our most mundane moments. It speaks of a truth that is both unsettling and strangely beautiful, that even in the silence of the unknown, there is a story worth telling, a mystery worth pondering, and a memory that lingers in the quiet spaces between wakefulness and dreams. As our journey through the mystery of Brian Shaffer's disappearance nears its gentle conclusion, take a moment to breathe deeply and let the enigma settle into the background of your thoughts. Much like the fading echoes of a distant melody, the unanswered questions of that fateful night remind us that life is filled with mysteries. Some we are meant to solve, and others that are destined to remain elusive. Imagine the quiet corridors of that Columbus Bar, the soft hum of a bygone evening, and the fleeting glimpse of a smile that vanished into the night. Let these images blend into the twilight of your mind, where curiosity mingles with calm. In the stillness, allow yourself to wonder, to ponder the spaces where certainty gives way to possibility, and to embrace the gentle allure of the unknown. Now, as you feel your eyelids growing heavy, know that the mystery of Brian Shaffer will remain, a story whispered in the dark, a puzzle that invites dreams and quiet contemplation. The unanswered questions become the lullaby of the night, guiding you into a peaceful sleep where every mystery is simply a part of the vast, beautiful tapestry of life. Good night, dear listener. Let the soft mystery of this tale escort you into a realm of tranquil dreams, where even the unsolved finds its place in the gentle rhythm of slumber.